Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today as a product of Paideia School. I entered Paideia in 7th grade, a skinny, acne-scarred boy with bad posture. Now, 6 years later, I emerge, a skinny, slightly smarter boy with horrible posture who hides his acne with concealing cream. Now, although I may not have physically changed at all, I did learn some important lessons along the way. The most important of these being, if you try to be creative and an individual, it will never end well, so you might as well conform and live happily in obscurity. I learned this lesson early at Morningside Elementary School. I was in kindergarten. It was around the middle of the year, and our class was going to play a singing game. The teacher, Mr. Goldman, said, "Okay, everybody, go pick out an item in the classroom that is your favorite color." There was a quick scramble about the class, and soon we reassembled in the center of the room, where Mr. Goldman told us to form groups with kids who had picked the same color. Every single girl in the class had picked pink or yellow, and every boy had picked either blue or green. Blue was my favorite color, so I picked out the washcloth by the sink. After we had formed groups, Mr. Goldman looked around, making sure everyone was in place, and his eyes came to rest on me. At this point, I am compelled to inform you that I have red-green color blindness, meaning that it's very difficult for me to tell certain colors apart, namely blue and purple. Slowly, Mr. Goldman walked over, bent down, and in front of the whole class said, "Nicholas, are you sure you're where you belong?" I thought for a moment, looked across the room, saw the groups of girls, and then looked around at all the guys surrounding me. "Yeah," I said. "Well, Nicholas, actually you have a purple washcloth." The kids around me took a step back. "That's okay though," he said, smiling. "You can have your very own group. You'll be an individual." The class giggled and my face turned bright red, or my individual interpretation of what red is. But the worst was yet to come. We soon began singing the song, in which at the appropriate time, each color group would shout the name of their color and hold their items in the air. One by one, each group called out, "Blue, green, pink, yellow." There was a pause. Mr. Goldman nodded towards me, and I slowly waved my washcloth in the air. Purple. And the song continued. It was the most alone I have ever felt. Pretty much where it began. From then on, anytime I did anything outside the norm, I was mocked and humiliated. Okay, before I begin this next story, I'd like to clear something up. Dancing is stupid. It has no point, and it only makes you look stupid. I came to realize this earlier in the year, when I went out with my friend Max Goldstein on a double date with 2 Westminster girls. I'm really bad on dates. They feel like job interviews, and I always feel that in the allotted time I have to put everything I've got out on the table. On this particular date, we had just seen a movie and were hanging out at my house. So far I was batting about a 200. My story about something I said in history class had gotten a laugh, but the joke about women's cycles had not, shall we say, fared well. Soon I had exhausted every funny story in my repertoire and was struggling for conversation topics. I looked to Max for some assistance, but I saw that both he and his date were nowhere in sight. Thanks. The isolation only worsened the situation, and I became desperate in the silence that was now moving from awkward to physically painful. I began racking my brain for ideas and took the first one that came. I asked the girl if she would like to see the pop and lock routine I had learned from a mail-order video entitled Darren's Dance Group. She was a little taken aback, but agreed. After moving a chair out of the way and pressing the play button on my stereo, I was off. It began well. I focused on the dancing and making sure that I was in time and that all my movements were strong and defined. But soon, my mind caught on, and I began to realize what I was doing. I was alone in my room with an attractive Westminster girl, and I was popping and locking. After that revelation, the dancer faded away. Yeah, that's it, I said, nervously looking over at her. Wow, she said, that was really something. I mean, wow. It was then that she noticed it was getting late. I know now that it is too late for me. I will never be part of the crowd. I'm skinny. I get pimples and dry skin at the same time. And I just do things that normal people don't do. I am the textbook example of why you should not be an individual. Had I been smart and stuck to the script, complimented her eyes or her hair, or talked about our shared interest, maybe in a few years I would be marrying into a rich Protestant family and getting a large house in Buckhead. Instead of a message delivered through Max saying, Nick's really nice, but I just don't think he's my type. Of course I'm not her type. I'm no one's type because I'm an individual. I am a walking awkward pause. I trip on things, say inappropriate things at the worst moments, and do the Darren's Dance Group pop and lock routine on dates when there's only one other person in the room. I stand before you today, pleading with you not to be like me. Be like Max Goldstein. He is the model by which all people unsure of how to live their lives should live their lives. He's a man's man, and the all-time strikeout leader in Paideia baseball history. He walks about knowing he's cooler than other people, and talks as if he doesn't care about anything at all. Now you may say, do you mean to tell us that we should completely withdraw our minds from the real world and experience nothing? Move through life without actually living it? That's exactly what I'm saying. Stop living. Living is the first branch you hit on your fall down from the unique tree. Thousands of people die from living every day. It's the leading cause of death. Everyone who lives dies. Think about that the next time someone tells you to seize the day and then drop kick them squarely in the mouth. Live your life by the following rules. Before you do anything, look around. Make sure that it's something that all the people around you would do. Don't ever voice any opinion of your own. And in the name of all that is holy, do not ever dance. I'm going to list a few people now, some of whom followed this advice, and others who didn't. These are the people who decided that they would step out of line and stand up for what they believed in. Abraham Lincoln, Lenny Bruce, Joe Camel, Michael Moore, Jesus, and Jack from Titanic. Of these people, one is not dead, and no one much likes him anyhow. Even Disney thinks he's kind of a jerk. Now, those among the crowd who followed us, deciding to take the road traveled by cooler people who probably knew what they were doing. John Greff, Paige Joggin, Alex Marble, Willie Dean, and Ching Kwai Lau. You don't know any of them? Good! That's just how they like it. My name is Nick Kocher. I'm a product of Paideia. Do not be like me.